Hi guys, I'm Kat and welcome back to my channel. One of the things that fascinates me in the entire world are serial killers. I find some of them very interesting, and just the mind of a serial killer and what exactly happens in the mind of a serial killer. And today I compiled a list of some of the most gruesome serial killers, in my opinion, in history, and I'm going to share them with you today because I'm morbid AF. It is also like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I noticed I have a tendency of filming videos at this time, and I watched a video about different serial killers, so it inspired me to make this video today. So the first serial killer that we are going to talk about is Ed Gein, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield. Ed Gein was a murderer and a body snatcher, and for those of you who don't know what a body snatcher is, it's a person who goes to graveyards and steals the dead bodies. He gained notoriety with the authorities after they discovered that he was exhuming bodies and making trophies and different objects out of their skin and bones. He was eventually arrested but was deemed unfit to stand trial due to being mentally unstable. He was put in a mental institution for several years, and at the age of 77, he died due to cancer of the liver and respiratory failure. Honestly, sounds like a crazy dude, and it makes me wonder what has to happen to you to make you want to literally make objects out of dead bodies. The next murderer or serial killer that we are going to talk about, really more of a murderer, is Catherine Knight. Catherine Knight was an Australian woman that butchered her husband to death, skinned his body, and put him on a meat hook before she decapitated him and boiled his head. It's said that she served his cooked flesh with potatoes, pumpkins, cabbage, and squash with gravy to his children. She was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole due to brutal murder, and she was the first woman in Australian history to ever get that sentence. It makes me wonder what he did to piss her off so much to make her butcher him to death, skin him, put him on meat hook, and decapitate him and feed him to his children. Like, how bad do you have to fuck up to make someone do that to you? The third murderer or serial killer that we're going to talk about, and I could not leave him out of this list, was Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer, also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, slaughtered, raped, and mutilated at least 17 young men before consuming their body parts. His killing spree spanned for over 13 years, and he said that his necrophilia and cannibalistic needs started when he was 14 years old, which is very young, and it makes you wonder, how did he realize that these were his interests? Like, did he look at someone and think, I bet that person tastes good? Like how do you realize that? And what makes him even more crazy is that he believed that he could turn his victims into zombies by drilling into their skulls and injecting acid into their brains. He was eventually sentenced to life imprisonment, and in 1994 he was killed by one of his fellow inmates. This next one is kind of gruesome and does have to also do with children, which is kind of a touchy subject, but a lot of people don't like to talk about. But the next person I'm going to talk about is Richard Chase. Richard Chase believed that the Nazis were trying to turn his blood into powder by placing poison underneath his soap dish. He became so paranoid that he was going to lose all of his blood that he shot his victims, had sex with their dead bodies, and proceeded to bathe in their blood. But to get even more fucked up, out of the children that he killed, he would eat their organs and drink their blood. When he was caught, he was sentenced to the gas chamber, but before he could they could even put him in the gas chamber, in 1980, they found him in a cell and he had committed suicide. In a way, it makes me sad, not just because of the victims that he killed, but because he must have been through some shit with Nazis or something along those lines to make him snap and think that. It's kind of sick to say that makes me sad for a man that did that to children and people. But, you know, it makes you think, you know, what fucked up thing happened to him with the Nazis to make him think that they were trying to poison him by turning his blood into powder. Unless he was just completely fucking psychotic, which is very possible. The next serial killer that we are going to talk about is an older one, and her name is Elizabeth Bathory. I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name correctly because it is a Hungarian last name, but it's Elizabeth Bathory, aka the Blood Countess. Elizabeth Bathory was a Hungarian noblewoman that went down in history as one of the most ruthless killers in Europe. It's said that between 1585 to 1610, she tortured and mutilated and murdered and all that fucked up stuff 650 girls. That's right, I said 650 girls. Most of them were teenage peasants. When she got caught, she tried to use her family's influence to keep her from execution, and that did work. But she was made to stay in her castle until she died, and they put like a brick wall in her doorway so she could never leave. So there you go, those are 5 of the most brutal murderers and serial killers, in my opinion. I know that they might not be to other people, but these are some of the ones that I found very interesting and creepy and fucked up and just weird. But you know, I'm morbid AF. I enjoy the darker side of the world and the darker side of things. Of course there's a line, but I do enjoy, I'm very fascinated by those kinds of things. So yeah, I just really realized like this glare thing in this corner right here is like making my face shape. It's like a weird echo in time, and I don't even know where it's coming from because there's nothing shiny around me to make this glare. So I don't know if it's like my light reflecting off the surface of my iPad camera and then making that, or if there's something else around me or behind. It might be that poster, I don't even know, but it's weird. But anyway, thank you for joining me in this video, and I hope that you had a good time listening to it. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, that's fine. Good for you. And if you want to see more videos like this, or just random ass videos that I do randomly, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And yeah. And again, thank you for joining me in this video, and I hope that you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. And this is Kat signing off. Bye.